Friday, 7th of June, you're back in business with me, Harsha Subramaniam. Dabur has outperformed the Nifty in the last 3 months. We now talk to the company's management CEO, Sunil Duggal, joins us on this conversation. Mr. Duggal, many thanks for joining in. My first question to you, you've had fairly strong volume growth last quarter, led by what's happened in the home care business and the health supplements business. What is your assessment of growth right now? Which business do you reckon will be leading this in the next year?
I think the growth which you saw in the fourth quarter of last year was exceptionally high. It will be hard to replicate that growth all over this current fiscal, but we are still going to hopefully going to see double-digit growths happening for our business in the current fiscal. It's still early days, we just got 2 months over, but the trends do indicate that demand side is not really suffering too much. There's been a little bit of a downslide, but not anything serious. And also the inputs which we've given to our business in terms of distribution expansion, etc., should be able to keep our volume growth hopefully in the double digits.
If you look at the various businesses that you're present in, Mr. Duggal, which do you believe has the potential to grow faster than it has this year? Which business would you be betting for the fastest growth in fiscal 14?
Again, it's a little early to take a final call on that. Different businesses do well at different points in time. Last year was a great year for beverages, for home care, as you mentioned, certain areas of health supplements, certain areas of personal care. This year, it's not necessary that the same businesses will show the same kind of high growths. There would be other parts of the business which would take the growth forward and others which won't. But I do expect continued high growth to come from our drivers like beverages and home care. I think supplements will be a mixed bag. There would be supplements which will be going fast and others not so much. We expect continued good growth to happen from our shampoos portfolio as well as toothpastes. And for the other ones, it's a little hard to predict because many of the sales kick in during the winter season for our products, and that's some way to go.
I understand that you will be expanding your distribution network, as you mentioned. Could you explain to us the game plan of what you're going to do both in modern trade and in general trade? Well,
modern trade, we just follow the outlets, so it's pretty simple. There's no really any great effort in doing distribution expansion, so we just follow the outlets as and when they open. And we've got our relationships with every of the modern trade accounts. So that's something which is easily done. The harder part is really expanding the distribution footprint in rural India. And we've spent an enormous amount of infrastructure, time and money over the last 2 years in expanding it so that we reach now even the smallest rural hinterlands in most parts of the country. And we've done this with an enormous network of something like 10,000 sub-stockists, something like 1,500 people manning our rural distribution systems. A whole lot of IT infrastructure has gone in terms of information capturing and dissemination. So a lot of hard work has gone into it, and some of the results which we have seen in the last quarter or two are a consequence of this effort. And we believe that the structural change which we've made will give us continued gains in the quarters ahead. So that's why I am fairly optimistic about our growth scenario this year and going forward, even if there is some slowdown in the market, which is eminently possible given the whole economic situation.
Fair point, Mr. Duggal. What about your international business? I understand your acquisitions, Hobby has had a fairly healthy growth in the past year, but your other business, Namaste, seems to face some challenges. Could you explain to us what the problems were? Are you expecting a revival this year?
Well, we do expect continued good growth to happen in Hobby, and we also do expect a significant turnaround as far as the Namaste business is concerned. You're absolutely right that the Namaste business went under some pressure. There were some structural issues there, which we are rapidly correcting. I think the numbers are already becoming visible, which are far superior to what we saw last year. And if this momentum continues, Namaste should have a good year. So overall, I think the overseas business should perform better, both the organic piece as well as the acquired businesses as compared to last year. So whatever small dip we may see in our domestic business, if that happens at all, should be able to make up by the international business.
The street is keen to know what your view on profitability is, Mr. Duggal. In fiscal 14, do you see your margin performance improve significantly, and how do you hope to achieve that?
That's a little bit harder to answer because we still don't know how the whole inflation scenario is going to play out. I think the rupee has taken a beating which we did not simply budget for. We had budgeted approximately at 55 levels, and now we are seeing more like 57. So So that's going to put a little bit of stress on margins. There are pockets, of course, of low inflation. Fortunately for us, the petroleum table is pretty soft, so that's providing us with the upside. But there are pockets of inflation in certain other areas like raw honey, spices, sugar, etc. So a mixed bag. I think our margin profile would be around the same as last year, perhaps marginally better. We are really not seeing huge upsides as far as the whole pricing situation is concerned for raw materials, which is a little bit of a disappointment because a few months ago we were far more hopeful of having deflation in our raw material business.
One final question, sir, and this is really regarding what's going on with the currency. We've seen the rupee dip extremely sharply. How is this really affecting your decision-making capabilities, given the fact that you're present in various international businesses as well?
It's very hard. We are not currency experts, so it's not easy for us to take calls as far as the movement of the rupee is concerned. Some of these changes are absolutely invisible to us. So by and large, we take covers for a very short duration, 2 or 3 months, and then we really go with the flow. So there is really no safety net as far as we are concerned, as far as Forex is concerned. If the rupee weakens, we do face inflationary impact, and because it's so hard to predict which direction the rupee will move.
We'll leave it there, Mr. Duggal. Many thanks for joining us with your perspective and appreciate your time for us. That was Sunil Duggal from Dabur talking about his company's plans and the road ahead. Staying with the FMCG sector, 3 products from Hindustan Unilever's cosmetic and hygiene categories